How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Box to Box. The Premier League continues. Football hasn't been halted. I've got Chris back. We come full circle this season already, halfway through the season, Chris. We meet again. In very different circumstances for Arsenal Football Club anyway. How you been anyway?
I'm good, thank you. Very different circumstances, and I think that you might be pitying Norwich's situation because it's really nice of you to make the effort with me today, Turkish, and wear yellow.
I'd call it more towards gold, but yeah, it is what it is. As long as it makes you feel a bit more comfortable with the conversation, that's fine with me. Listen, all I want is 3 points on Sunday, Chris. So it is what it is. Yeah, how you been anyway? In the Christmas spirit, smiling?
I'm smiling because if I don't smile and laugh, I'll definitely cry in the world of Norwich City at the moment. It's really dim, if I'm honest. And I think that's probably based on recency bias because we had such a disappointing defeat against Aston Villa at Carrow Road. And it was the first disappointing defeat. Of course, since we last spoke, Dean Smith has now taken charge of Norwich City rather than Daniel Farke. He injected lots of belief straight away. We got a string of undefeated results and we started to look up again. And then against Aston Villa last time out, mate, we absolutely fell over. And I'm sure Arsenal fans will totally get this as well. If you're going to lose, there's a way to lose. Fighting, going for every tackle, winning second balls, showing a bit of passion. And we were just nowhere near it against Villa, scarily nowhere near it. I think you could probably give them the excuse of we had players out with injuries and with COVID, but that's just like every other team right now. So it's going to be a fascinating one, Turkish, because last time we spoke, I was like, I genuinely believe that we could have got a result or even, dare I say, a shithouse win against Arsenal away at your gaff. And
He was confident. I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, but we almost did, right? You won 1-0, and it was a very, very lucky goal. And I'm sure our fans with their heads screwed on will admit that, albeit you had most of possession and shots, but still, we clung in there. And but since then, Arsenal just really impressed. Actually, really impressed that Mikel Arteta has managed to resurrect himself, particularly with a lot of Arsenal fans. I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans are eating their words now. I must admit, I didn't believe that Arsenal could do what they've done to get to this point. And I'm just really impressed with the way that they're playing football. And I'm very, very worried going into this game on Boxing Day. Of course, Norwich have beaten Arsenal before at Carrow Road. We've had a couple of draws and close encounters. I was laughing at the last time we won against Arsenal at Carrow Road. I believe it was 1-0. And I'll never forget the goal that Grant Holt scored because Alex shot. And I don't know who your goalkeeper was at the time.
I think it's Almunia.
Yeah, I think it was too. Yeah. And he parried it. And then it was Per Mertesacker versus Grant Holt to try and catch the ball. It was like watching two dinosaurs run for the ball to try and score.
Running backwards.
And luckily, Holty buried it. But yeah, no, I don't think it'll be close this time around, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's just touch on Norwich a bit. I know you don't want to talk about them too much, and I want to get your opinion on Arsenal, Arteta, and like you said, a lot of fans eating their words. What do you think it is with Norwich? Because you was confident coming into the season. Listen, you are bottom of the league. You've got a game in hand on Newcastle, and there's not much in between in terms of the few teams at the bottom of the league. Are you still confident of staying up? Obviously not as much as you was at the start of the season, but at the halfway mark, are you confident you're going to stay up, or is it a tough one now?
It is a tough one. It was always a tough one, right? But I go into it. I'm a football fan that's of the faith that you should go into every season with optimism, because if not, what's the point? What's the point in going to games being all down in the dumps about not getting results, or we're not good enough, or we're rubbish, or sack the board, or get rid of the manager? I just think, you'll be with your club for life, and you may as well make it a fun journey and slowly get let down rather than just expecting nothing and moaning and griping the whole time.
Sounds like me.
I think it's a lot harder for Norwich now. I do. I'm not blind to that. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're definitely staying up, this and that. But what I will say, Turkish, is that this is this is probably the closest season in a long, long time in the Premier League where it's just how close and compact it is at the bottom of the league. I'd argue that actually the bottom of the league is a whole lot more interesting than at the top right now, because there are a lot of shit teams in the Premier League this season, to be honest. And, Norwich have had a disappointing defeat against Aston Villa, but we're only a win away from clawing it back again. And it's the same for a lot of those teams in there. Of course, you'd expect Newcastle to get out of it, but will they? Leeds are plummeting, and Burnley are really bad, and Brentford are in a false position, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a fascinating relegation battle this season. I'm not writing Norwich off yet. And I think that when we get our players back fit, we've had a couple of big omissions in the last few weeks in Matthias Norman, who's absolutely fantastic in midfield for us, and also Milo Rashica as well, who are both out injured right now. So it's really tough. So Pukki's up there, but he's really isolated. And you guys will know that, if you're not scoring goals and you're trying your best to defend, there's only so much you can do, right?
Yeah.
The best form of defense is offense. And unfortunately, at the moment, Norwich City aren't just scoring goals, but we're not creating enough chances either.
Yeah. What are those players out of Sunday's game as well?
Yeah, they won't be back, mate. I'll be very, very surprised. And but this is the thing. I was laughing with you, Turkish, before we started recording now, about how I've come on to try and provide some Norwich insight. Quite frankly, no one really knows what team we're going to field against Arsenal. And I must say, Turkish, I thought before the Aston Villa game we would have gone all out, and maybe they still will in terms of trying to attack Arsenal rather than sitting back. But the way we played against Villa was just so pony that I just don't know. I don't know what Dino's going to do. I don't know whether we are going to be compact and try and hit you guys on the break. I don't think we've got the players to do that. I'm not quite sure whether they're going to have to chop and change around players or not. We could be in a position where we see Giannoulis, who's normally left back, playing in left midfield. We could see players play like, for example, Sam Byram, who made his comeback game against Aston Villa in centre midfield, despite the fact that he's a defender and he's been out for 2 years. So Norwich are really down to their bare bones at the moment. And, Arsenal have got the luxury, right, of, you've got not only top quality players that are singing on the same hymn sheet at the moment and are full of confidence, and the wind is definitely in the sails. But even if your squad is thin, you've got quality to come off your bench. And at the moment, I would say that in hindsight, our summer recruitment was not as good as I thought. And I think that might end up being, sadly, the undoing of Norwich City this season, because we're not going to buy in January, Turkish. And that's the problem for Norwich as a self-funded football club. We don't have a billionaire owner to go, well, there you go, sign a midfielder that's gonna lay out Pukki for the rest of the season. Here you go, have 17 million quid to put someone up front to challenge with Pukki. We don't have that. So we are stuck between a rock and a hard place, mate. And I personally think it will be one of the biggest, best Premier League survival stories of all time if Norwich stay up this season, considering where we are now.
Big words. Well, we'll see how it unfolds. Like I said, we're at the halfway mark now. So, another 19 to go after this one. On Arsenal, Chris, when we first spoke, I think Norwich was our first game after the international break where we had lost the first 3 of the season, I believe. I think Norwich was our first game back from that. Hence why the mood was very different to what it is now. We're currently sitting in top 4, a few points off 5th, albeit games in hand below and whatnot, but you'd rather have the points than the games in hand. I want to get your opinion on Arsenal now and in turn, Mikel Arteta.
Well, I must start by saying a huge amount of kudos must go to the big man, Don Robbie, because he came on our YouTube channel, Talk Norwich City, to do our preview. And I asked him the question, where do you believe Arsenal will end up and come the end of the season? He said, look, Chris, I'm going to be really honest here. I genuinely believe that Arsenal should be and will be in and around the European door and knocking on for Champions League. And I think Arsenal have at the moment got themselves into a position and given themselves a good, what I would call baseline or platform to go and do that. You're now in a really strong position ahead of January, which means that you will be able to attract talent. Whereas beforehand, when we last spoke, Turkish, you were on the floor, and I don't think you would have signed anyone in that state. That's for sure. I'm very impressed. As I say, I'm very impressed with Arsenal. I'm not going to sit here and lie just because I'm on AFTV. I am surprised because I was just looking and thinking there are so many fires for Mikel Arteta to put out. And fair play, he's put them out.
Yeah.
And you can argue that, maybe just players have hit form. I think bringing away, I might not make, be friends with the Arsenal fans saying so. I think bringing Aubameyang out of the frame was a great move, actually, I have to admit. And I said this before to you, Turkish. I think Arsenal's problem over the last probably 3 seasons is there's way too much player power. There's not really a culture, in my opinion, from the outside looking in. It's very evident with other football clubs that there is. Some of the wages that players are on compared to others, and the brands and the personalities, and it's very difficult for Mikel Arteta to pull them in and say, actually, no, we are together, we are a unit, and he's done that now. I think a huge reason why Arsenal have done well is Arteta has placed faith in the youngsters, in particularly, of course, in Smith Rowe and Saka, who I genuinely believe you're looking at 2 Arsenal icons already. I think I really do I do believe that you're looking at 2 Arsenal icons in Smith Rowe and Saka. I think
they crossed me.
I do. I think, I loved watching Saka in the World Cup, in the Euros. I think he was absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to clap him at Carrow Road, actually, which seems a bit funny, but I won't be doing it afterwards. Beforehand, but afterwards I will be giving a round of applause because he was my favourite player to watch for England, and I think Arsenal are sitting on some absolute gold there, and they've now got a great opportunity to crack on. Ramsdale, what a goalkeeper! What a goalkeeper! And and I kind of, if he was my goalkeeper, I love Timmy Krul because he gives a bit to the away fans.
Yeah, you like a bit of character, right? You don't want everyone to be like robots.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And I do you know what, Turkish? I think now, I don't know what's happened, and Arsenal fans will know this, and I won't, but it seems like you've managed to get the character out of the players that you need. That's not the arrogance. I think there was way too much arrogance before. Yeah. You're on the same bill sheet, but you're allowing players to maybe express their on-the-pitch personalities now. And I think that's really shining through. And I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous. I think I'm not sure that Arsenal will be able to keep it up, dare I say. But then to maybe just talk about the perspective here, I think Arsenal fans should probably be quite grateful considering how you started this season. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how you guys kick on from here. It really is.
If you had to, if I had to ask you now to pin down a position Arsenal come in May, where would you say?
I think you'll be in and around the Europa League. I do. I don't think you're going to make Champions League. I think Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea are too strong. I still think I know Leicester are in and out of form, but I would arguably put them maybe in and around where Arsenal are hanging about at the moment. West Ham are having a fantastic season, giving credit where credit's due. They're going to sign some players in January. So I think a lot of it depends on the January window, Turkish, actually. I really do. I think if I was an Arsenal fan, I would just ride out this season, not expect too much, and hope that we land in and around the Champions League spots because of that absolutely horrific start that you had. I think really what you've got now is, as I say, a good baseline to work on for the next couple of seasons from here.
I think what you said there is key in terms of January. It'll be interesting after, COVID, the lack of fans and the impact the last 2 years have had on this January transfer window. I'm reading things that it might be the quietest, we've seen in a little while because of the impact. Yeah. But at the same time, that 4th position is very lucrative. As much as fans want to see the team back in the Champions League, the owner wants the money that comes with that. So it's there for someone to take the necessary risk, in my opinion. Whether that's Arsenal, whether that's Tottenham, whether that's Man United, dare I say West Ham too, they might be in a position where they're saying, you know what, if we take this risk, it might really pay off. I'm with you there. January, I think by the end of January, we'll look at the league table, we'll look at the business done in January, and we'll have a better perspective of probably how the season will finish. Hopefully, listen, we need a striker and a centre mid. I doubt we do both in January, but at least one would be nice, because a new signing, especially if it's a decent name, it kind of galvanizes the people around as well. It can get more out of others. So listen, I'm hoping and dreaming right now, Chris. In a couple of weeks, well, in a week, it opens the January transfer window. So hopefully the rumors start coming in.
Turkish, we've got a great player that I'd really strongly advise that you buy for a very, very affordable price of around £40 million. It's called Josh Sargent. He's a world-class player. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but I know that the Arsenal board will be watching this right now, and I cannot praise him enough. I'd really recommend that Arsenal get him.
40 mil, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth 60, but I'll be happy to shake your hand, Turkish, for 40.
Yeah, you're happy to take it. Let me speak to the people and see what I'll get back to you on that one, Chris. Anyway, next time you call my phone, it'll go straight to voicemail. But it is what it is. Let's get into a prediction now, Chris. You're not very optimistic, understandably. COVID and a bit of injury concerns, key players out.
Yeah.
What are you going for? I'd assume a point it would be great for you guys, in your opinion, but do you think it's possible?
Very different to how I was last time on this channel, Turkish. It was confident that we could get a shithouse 1-0 win. As I said, and to be fair, we almost did get that. We'd taken our one chance and actually defended properly. This time, I would 1,000,000% take a draw right now. I'd be walking out for Carrow with a massive smile on my face, chuffed to pieces, considering just how depleted our squad is, Turkish. But I think, and I've spoken to Norwich City legend Grant Holt, who's done some stuff for our channel, and he says that it's going to be 3-1 to Arsenal. The power that you've got going forwards, I think, will be really tough to defend against, really tough. And without that steel in midfield to break you guys down, the pace in which that you break, I could probably see something similar. My heart says 1-1. My head says this is going to be a 3-1 win for Arsenal. And it makes me sad to say this because I see myself as an optimistic fan, but I think this will be a walk in the park for Arsenal, sadly. I really do. You're just on mute there, Turkish.
My bad. There's a bit of background noise. Like I was saying, if you've watched this before and you've seen Chris earlier in the season, there's no doubt that you are an optimistic fan. But as the season goes, things change and the perspective, has to change with it. So
you never know. We only need to. This is the thing, right? Going to this game, I'll try and get on the positivity again for the 4 fans that are watching this, Norwich fans. And I think I always say this, right? When you're in a relegation fight, a statement win does you the world of good and could put you on a run of undefeated games and can completely change the narrative and the feeling around the club. So beating out Aston Villa, I really rate Aston Villa, and they were a really tidy, solid team when they came to Carrow. But arguably, I'd rather beat Arsenal because it's a statement win. You guys are on form, bigger club, and I think it would just really boost our confidence. So I would love it if we beat Arsenal. I really would, because I think we're looking at a David versus Goliath situation here, Turkish. I really do. I really don't fancy us at all. And if I was a betting man, I'd certainly be putting my money on Arsenal at the weekend. That's for sure.
I can understand. Yeah, you haven't scored in the last 3 games either. So I was actually going to predict 3-1, but the more you mentioned, the lack of attacking or creativity behind Pukki and whatnot, I'll probably change that to a 3-0.
I can't argue. This is the thing, Turkish. Normally I'd come out fighting, but I can't fight against anyone at the moment because what we saw against Villa was woeful, absolutely woeful. And I hate being negative about the team, but I can't not criticize them. We've got players in our camp now that must step up. They have to prove themselves now. We've spent big money on a few of them. And some of the boys that we've had in the Premier League last time that have supposedly got experience haven't really come to the table so far this season. So, as you say, Turkish, we'll know, by the end of this month, beginning of January, whether Norwich do have hope of staying up. and it would be great from a yellow and green perspective to do that by beating the Arsenal.
let's hope that's not the case come Boxing Day, Chris. Let the people know where they can find you as well. You mentioned Talk Norwich City as the YouTube channel. Where else can they locate you at? We'll put it in the description box below, people, as well, so quick links are there.
Thanks, Turkish, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're Talk Norwich City on YouTube. We're the biggest Norwich City fan channel. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Revo. I do love a bit of banter, but please don't give me banter after full time on Sunday, because I have a funny feeling which way it's going to go, and I probably won't be able to take it. So go and follow me on Twitter there, Talk Norwich City. And if you are going to the game and you're in the away end, I'm halfway up the Barclays stand on the lower tier, and I'm leaning up against the wall, and I'll probably be wearing a big puffer coat of some sort. So if you want to give me a football finger, should we say, then then you're welcome to.
You might get a few of those, Chris. A few of those.
No, it's fine, absolutely fine. I'm used to it. I love it when the away fans come and they're giving it large, and they normally give it the specs, Turkish. So I normally turn around and give it one of them and have so
the banter on that little. Every stadium you go to, the banter in that little bit of the few rows from either side of the away fans to the home fans, it's probably the best place to be sitting, really, or standing.
Well, and I look forward to celebrating at the final whistle on Sunday, that's for sure. It'd be a lovely Christmas present for me.
Well, I won't be there, but I'm going to make sure that my people that are there will get you on video when we do score. I want to see some zoom-ins and whatnot.
I'll be hiding.
Chris, like you said, the banter's there. So go follow up Chris on Twitter, people. And like he said, the biggest Norwich channel on YouTube, Talk Norwich City. The links are in the description below. Make sure you guys go support Chris. As always, appreciate your time. Hopefully, we're back next season talking about this same fixture.
Please.
We'll see how it goes. People, hit the like button. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Predictions, lineups. Now Wolves have got an extra, they've got 9 days to prepare for our game, and we've only got 48 hours or less than 48 hours. Do we make changes? Do we, include some of the people that just played in the League Cup? Pepe maybe, Eddie maybe. Let us know in the comments below. Hit the like button and go subscribe to Talk Norwich City and Chris Reeve on Twitter.